Here we go. All right, everyone, good evening and welcome to the Port Washington Planning Commission meeting for July 18th, 2024. Taking roll call, we have excused member Chad Mock, and all other commissioners are present. What I'm looking for is an approval of our previous meeting minutes. Is there someone willing to make that motion?
So moved.
Alderman Newmeyer made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Ryer made the second. Any questions or concerns on the motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so before we get into public comments, I wanted to introduce Port Washington Saukville School District's newest superintendent of schools. Mike, if you wanted to say something. A year ago, we had or a little over a year ago, we had passed an ordinance in the city of Port Washington that the school district superintendent of schools would be an advisory member of the planning commission to ensure that the school district, who's an equal partner in the municipality, would have the opportunity to kind of foreshadow what's coming and see plans, et cetera, and then have a large equal voice in that. So welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Excited to be here. Just making some connections with my neighbor right here about just all the connections. My wife is a Port grad. My mother-in-law is a Port grad. My grandmother-in-law is a Port grad. So I'm maybe connected to the community through that. So please let me be a part of the community, even though I wasn't born here, but my wife was, so.
Please let you be.
Please.
You're fine.
Awesome, thank you.
You're fine. As a matter of fact, if we go back far enough, no one was born here, so you're good. But I've never heard grandmother-in-law before, so yeah, way to drop the tree all the way into the roots. And then second thing I wanted to do was apologize for being here in a t-shirt, but it is Fish Days weekend, and I have to DJ at 7 o'clock tonight, and I was down there helping set up and working. So normally I would look like him, which is unfortunate for you. All right, so with that, are there any public comments or appearances tonight before the Planning Commission? If there are, remember you have up to 3 minutes, and if you need more time than that, contact me in the future. Any public comments or appearances? Any public comments or appearances? Any public comments or appearances? Seeing none? Yeah, I ask her every time. All right, so that leads us to agenda item number 4, a minor review. Consideration and possible action on a use approval for a proposed retail grocery store at 1590 Harris Drive. Applicants are here tonight, and the recommendation from the staff is that we are being asked to approve a minor review to allow a proposed retail grocery store at the subject property. The subject site was constructed in 2008, and Mr. Harris is approving the his recommendation is to approve the minor review subject to identical building materials and colors to be used in the removal of the teller box space. Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the subject property is here. It's kind of informally known as the former BMO Bank space in the commercial center at the intersection of State Highway 32 and Sauk Road. I think that space has been vacant. I think I had it in my report for since before I've been here, so 7 years or give or take. And this property is zoned B2. It's a business district, and it is the use as a grocery store. It's designated as a retail store and shop, and that is a permitted use by right in the zoning code under B2, just subject to review by the Plan Commission with this minor review. Real quick, I'll give a summary of the project. As noted, it is a proposed grocery store. It will specialize in Asian Indian groceries. It will have a kind of a grab-and-go carry-out option. The existing drive-through structure, it will not be used and will remain in place. I think the applicants wish to hold on to that and just see how the business goes initially, and then they may have future plans for that or not. The hours of operation, as stated on the application, will be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. Weekend hours will be 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Initially, there will be one full-time employee staffing the store, and again, depending on sales and the success of the business, that may expand to 2. There's an on-site surface parking lot, as you can see. It's estimated that just given the small space of the grocery store, and with all the tenants, we still have a 13-stall surplus on that parking lot. And so with that, staff does recommend approval and noting the mayor and also the applicant's comments. The only work being done on the exterior is just replacing that teller, that teller space and just replacing that with like materials and colors on the exterior of the building. And so with that, and my recommendation to approve with that condition, the applicants are here in case you have any questions for them.
Any questions or concerns for Bob? Roger?
Are there any signage that's planned? Or maybe?
Signage is, I'll answer the quick answer. Signage is separate, and sign permits do go through me, and it's all approved in-house.
I guess more what I'm looking is are you thinking you're going to have a sign on the building, or are you looking at monument signs out on site somewhere?
There is a sign in this property on the corner, close to the highway. We can add our store sign on top of it. And there is also provisions on the unit in front of the unit. We can add the sign on there.
Thank you.
So
Mr. Ehrlich?
just for this is more out of curiosity.
So I'm going to just ask him, would you mind stepping to the podium and pressing the little button so the red light comes on? And then would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure. I'll introduce myself first. I'm Tavasi, and my wife Rajeshwari is here. So we live in Port since 2013. I work at Sackville in a biotech company as a R&D manager. We own another biotech company, both of us. That's in West Bend. And this store, myself and my wife, we are starting. And it will be an Indian grocery store with a takeout option, as the Planning Commission mentioned. So then to answer your question.
Oh, okay. So
Thank you, Tabashi.
Sure. Thank you.
So when you're talking about the actual drive-up windows, you're going to take out, right?
There is a teller window, like a bank, where you go,
Yes.
you put a box,
Yep.
you put your check in.
So you're going to take all that out. and
Only
then
that
put in-
portion will be taken off.
Okay.
And the remaining canopy on the top, the building structure will remain the same.
That's all. Okay. And the pneumatic tube is just going to stay there. The tube kiosk and stuff.
There is a small equipment outside that pulls the cube, everything inside.
Yeah.
We are going to take it out.
Oh, you are.
And
Okay.
somebody is interested to buy that.
Oh,
So
okay.
we will do that. But structurally, everything
Structure
remains
stay.
as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess with that, I'll move approval, provided that like materials are replace the window.
All right, so there's a motion from Mr. Ehrlich. Is there a second?
The drawer.
Seconded by Roger. Any questions or concerns on the motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
I
Opposed? All right, Tabashi, I do have one question.
Sure.
This is from my daughter, Grace Knightsky, 513 Brentwood Court. Will there be butter chicken?
Yes.
You will make her life. So I'm very excited that we have your store and your services in Port Washington. So thank you so very much. Yeah, she will be your first customer. She goes to college in Chicago and she's like, "There's no good food," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, and also, if I may, this takeout kitchen is a starting point. As the business goes out, the next unit is also vacant. We also bought an acre of land in the same property. So there is an option for expansion. If you all support us, we can even put a full-time restaurant there, Indian restaurant. Still, the grocery store will run as a grocery store.
Yeah. Well, how exciting.
yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for investing in Port Washington.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to the next one here. Barbecue. All right, so the next one is a conditional use consideration and possible action on amending a conditional use grant to allow for a restaurant and bar with outdoor dining at 551 North Wisconsin Streets. James McMahon in Milwaukee. Is it Milwaukee? MKE? Yeah. Mustache Properties. That's fantastic. All right. So the Plan Commission is being asked to provide a recommendation to the Common Council to amend an existing conditional use grant to allow for the proposed restaurant and bar with outdoor dining. The background is this is the former Sundance property. Bob, I appreciate a reference to the Sundance Bar, which operated out of the site from the 70s to 2016. That was the heart of craziness on Fish Day for me as a kid. Mr. Ehrlich, you grew up half a block away from that place.
I
Yes.
stumbled home many a night.
Stumbled home.
It was all downhill. It was
You should have
perfect.
just taken a. You should have just taken a skateboard. The staff recommends approval of the conditional use grant request with the following conditions. There are 11 of them. Bob, you get to explain them. Mr. Harris.
I will read them. I noted that. Real quick sidebar, in researching the opening and closing dates of the Sundance, I had to reach out and asked, did an email to the street crew to see if some of the longtime residents of Port would have those dates for me as far as 2017, 1970 something.
It was the single greatest cheeseburger in the city of Port Washington.
Good cheeseburger.
Yeah. So we're excited to see what you're going to bring in.
So real quick, and I probably, given the room here, I probably don't have to do this, just for the sake of the introduction. Subject property is here, 551 North Wisconsin, here in the red boundary. You can see just kind of the neighborhood context, and we'll get a little closer into that. Here is essentially the site plan for the Lucky Devils Restaurant and Bar. Would that be good enough for now? Yes. So the existing dining patio in which the existing conditional use grant is applied to. And then obviously the parking lot in the rear. The garbage will initially start off in the detached garage. And then the main entrance and deliveries also will be off of Wisconsin Street. The site context photos. The little cocktail glass icon is the subject property here on Wisconsin Street looking west. Here is a view looking east from Harrison Street to the rear parking lot. And then looking down south on Harrison Street and just seeing the context, the residential context and the parking lot entrance indicated with a red arrow. That is it for the slides. And so the property is zoned, I'll get to this in the next agenda item. It's currently a split zone parcel, but the property principal structure is zoned CCM, and there's an overlay called Special Service Overlay, and that allows for existing taverns and bars or restaurants serving liquor, which would designate it as a conditional use, and that explains the application in the agenda item tonight. Sorry. Let me back up here, give it away. And so, real quick on the summary of the use and the operations. It'll be a full-service restaurant and bar. Anticipated hours of operation will be closed Monday, Tuesday through Wednesday will be 11 a.m. to midnight. Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Kitchen hours, they will close at 8 p.m., after which there'll be a modified menu after the kitchen closes. And then the patio hours will stick to its present conditional use hours of 11 to 10 p.m. And then there are, similar to the previous agenda item, there'll be no main or significant exterior building changes, save for business signage. And then just given the context, and I know the applicants have diligently reached out to their neighbors. It is largely backing into a residential street, and so the applicants did put together several noise mitigation measures as far as getting the business operated, and as part of this conditional use. There will be no outdoor live music planned initially. Music will be via small speaker for the patio area. Trash and bottle dumps will occur during the daytime hours, and patrons will be directed to enter at the Wisconsin Street entrance. And the applicant is looking at the use of sound dampening panels inside the restaurant. Moving on to the criteria for approval of a conditional use, you may or may not know that conditional uses are largely guided by state statutes. And since 2017, the criteria that I put in your report, and this is for your deliberations to keep in mind, that when attaching conditions to a conditional use, they must be applied as reasonable and to an extent practicable, measurable. What this means is that the commission cannot base a conditional use permit decision on personal preferences or speculation, i.e., we don't like the use, therefore we will not approve. It goes back to conditions applied to a use should be practical and measurable to the best extent. And then lastly, if the applicant agrees to meet these conditions that are applied to the conditional use, the condition grant must be given. So with that, I do recommend approval of the conditional use grant request with the following conditions. And real quick, some of these are template conditions that we apply to nearly all outdoor dining conditional uses, and then just some are specific just to this location. So number one, days and hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. It's not unusual for conditional uses to grant a little wider latitude than a specific day, so we are going with the widest latitude requested. Days and hours of outdoor dining, again, will match the conditional use of 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Outdoor dining and drinking locations shall be in accordance with approved site plan filed as part of the application, and that site plan was essentially that slide that I had previously. Alcoholic beverages are permitted in the outdoor seating area shown on the approved site plan, subject to terms and conditions of the alcohol beverage license issued for the premises. The duration of the conditional use grant, it is standard in the conditional use code, in our zoning code, that will have a 12-month review when it is approved. And after that time, if there are no issues, the conditional use can then go forward without the subsequent 12-month reviews after that. Number 6, signage is posted on the premises notifying patrons that alcohol beverages shall not be carried, possessed, or consumed off the premises. Refuse containers are supplied to reduce litter and discourage patrons from carrying food or beverage off the premises. No outdoor live music or amplified music beyond personal smartphone or small speaker devices. No nighttime trash or bottle dumping between the hours of 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. Primary entrance shall be on North Wisconsin Street. And lastly, parking and deliveries shall also be on North Wisconsin Street. So with those conditions, staff recommends approval, and applicants are here if you have any questions.
I'll move approval with the staff recommendations.
Moved and second. Any questions or concerns, or did you want to add anything before? Yeah. Yeah. Well, before you do that, to put your motion at risk, all in favor? Aye. And is there any opposition? All right, the motion passes. Now you should do it.
I'm James McMahon. I'm the property owner of Under Milwaukee Mustache Properties. I've had a mustache and beard for a while, so that's hence the name. My business partner over here in Lucky Devils, this is Kimberly Noble Monday, and she's in the area also. So we're excited to be part of the community, and pending approval, we would love to see this project move forward and be part of this vibrant community that's already here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit, like, they're going to have one of my favorite foods. What are you guys going to serve? And you're going to have a little smokehouse up there? You're going to bring it in?
We will, so I am the owner of the Bay Restaurant in Whitefish Bay. We do a lot of our smoking there. And then I also own Big Ed Smoke Pit. So between those two facilities, we have the capability to bring in the smoking and to add that as far as Lucky Devils and incorporate that into the menu. The final menu, I mean, you're going to have some bar fare. It's a smaller kitchen, so we're going to have restraints as far as those capabilities in there. But you know, if the restaurant and food part goes well, then we have capability to expand those offerings into potentially entrees and stuff like that in the future.
Yeah. Our new superintendent, Mike, he wanted me to ask you if you guys were going to have brisket wraps you know, and some other things. So
We will definitely put it in the comment section.
there
if
you go.
possible.
There you go. Quick lunch, yeah. He'll bring the teachers over every Thursday. Okay, well, welcome to Port Washington, and thank you for investing here.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Okay, so then item number 6 is rezoning, consideration and possible action on a proposal to rezone a split zone parcel from CCM Central City Mixed OOS Office and Special Service Overlay and RM2 Residential Zoning to CCM Central City Mixed and OOS Overlay, 551 North Wisconsin Street. James McGinn and Milwaukee Mustache Properties is the applicant for that as well. The background on this is we're being asked to make a recommendation to the council to apply a uniform zoning classification of CCM to the property. And the recommendation from staff is, due to the comments and findings noted above, the staff recommends that we approve the proposed rezoning. Bob, I'll let you share those comments.
Thank you. So I noted this issue from the previous agenda item. The property has a split zoning, which is not a split base zoning, which is not permitted. So you see on the slides in front of you, you see the property in the red, and then you can see how the two base zoning districts just kind of divide the property going through the middle of the garage, and then you have the CCM with that use overlay, and then you have the residential zoning to the rear. And then the proposal is to unify the base zoning with the CCM and then also with that use overlay. And so I think this property was rezoned with the CCM with the overlay in 1994 when there was some rezonings going on Wisconsin Street. I don't know why the split zoning came about. I suspect that it's because those initial Wisconsin Street lots were where the yellow or the yellow border ends, but there's no indication of that property becoming what it is now, or if there was ever a CSM or some type of land combination, and that would have been the time where the CCM would have encompassed the entire property. So consider this essentially an administrative action in regards to the rezoning. And so just to reiterate, because there's a lot of letters involved here, we are currently going to rezone the property from Central City Mixed with the OOS overlay and RM1 residential, and we're going to rezone it to CCM with an overlay, and that will make the entire parcel contiguous with a base zoning, which is what is needed rather than the split zoning, which is not permitted. And so in my report, I talk about rezoning criteria, and so I would suggest that the Plan Commission, when you make your recommendation to the Common Council, give consideration to the following. Is the proposed rezoning consistent or generally consistent with the city's future land use plan? Does the proposed rezoning meet the intent of the zoning districts in which it will be rezoned to? I'll touch on that in a sec. And then in this case, does a proposed amendment correct an error made in the original ordinance? So looking at, this is a slide of the city's updated future land use plan. The properties in question is that long, thin lime green property going from Wisconsin back to Harrison Street. And that is a mixed-use traditional neighborhood land use, and that is in conformity with the intention of Central City Mixed. Central City Mixed, mixed-use traditional neighborhood, they share the same intents. So given that, the staff recommends that the proposed rezoning is consistent with the city's future land use map. The property meets the intent of both the CCM and the OS overlay, and based upon examination of the zoning map and other evidence, or lack thereof, the rezoning request corrects an error made in the mapping of the previous ordinance. And for those reasons, staff recommends approval.
All right, any questions for Bob? Mr. Ryer?
Taking into account the criteria and seeing that they are met, I would move to approve to the rezoning of CCM with the OSS overlay.
There's a motion by Commissioner Ryer. Is there a second? Second. second by Roger. Any questions or concerns on the motion? All right, seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, motion passes. Tavashi and James, when you have your grand openings, please invite us. We would love to be at both of those places, and we wish you the best of luck. And as you move through council, we'll see you both again. But yeah, thank you for coming to Port Washington. And with that, is there?
welcome.
Oh, Mike, are you okay with the length of time on the meeting? Yeah, yeah. If you don't want to go home, we can tell her that you were here till 9 or something. But I'm just kidding. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Alderman Newmeyer, seconded by Commissioner Ehrlich. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion